Welcome. You're right where you belong. Eugenia and I have been friends for 28 years, and while life phases and stages, racking up titles and all the etceteras in life keep us busy, we are intentional about keeping each other centered and committed, and to picking up right where we left off. After all, it's our life support. Welcome back to Life Support. Today's episode is especially for the moms out there who are running businesses and building dreams, and now getting ready for summer break with the kids at home. If you're feeling that mix of excitement and how am I going to do all of this, you're not alone. Let's talk about how to prepare, stay sane, and maybe even enjoy the season a little more. Eugenia, what are some of your favorite activities with the kids during summer break?
Some of my favorite activities to do with the kids over summer break would be, mainly just the simple things. We love park days, water play in the backyard, sprinklers, water tables, all of that kind of stuff. And just mainly getting outside as much as possible. We love to do that, explore new parks and playgrounds. I'm big on creating little moments that feel fun without overcomplicating things, if that makes sense. I also love to do random ice cream runs and movie days at home, and letting them have more of the slow mornings where there's no rush. Let's see. Also, every now and then, we'll throw in something special, like maybe a zoo trip or a little day outing or something like that, just to switch things up. For me, it's really about balance and keeping them entertained, but also not putting pressure on myself to make every day this like big thing, this big event, and just this like really planned out experience. Sometimes, the best memories really come from the most like chill, unplanned moments. So I would say, yeah, that's what our summers look like. What about you?
It's all of that. It's the samesies all day. We do all of those things. I also try to get to like different little festivals and like movies on the green. I don't know if they do that where you live, but a lot of the parks and recreation do movies on the green where they do big screens and you bring your picnic blankets and your food and you just hang out and have a good time. Wineries and all kinds of things like that. So it's the same, slow and
Yeah,
intentional.
right. That's key. Before we get into strategies, let's just name it. Summer is a shift. Your schedule changes, your energy is divided, and your usual routines, they might not exist in the same way. Instead of trying to force your normal workflow into summer, it helps to design a summer version of your life and business, one that actually works with your reality and not against it. Since summer is coming up really soon, I'm being very intentional on how I want the season to look, for both my life and business. Because I just know that my normal schedule that I have now is not going to work once the kids are home and the days get less structured. So instead of waiting until I'm overwhelmed, I'm starting to think of the summer version of my life and, what business needs to be. For me, that's going to definitely look like more flexibility, looser routines, and being more realistic about my time and my energy. I also know that my work blocks will probably need to shift for sure. Maybe earlier in the day or later at night. I'll have to focus more on what actually is going to move my business forward instead of trying to do everything. And on the life side, I definitely really want to be more present. That's definitely something that I am going to work on. I want to enjoy the moments with my kids, without constantly feeling like I'm behind on work. I'm really giving myself permission for things to look different during that season. And I kind of mentioned this before. For me, it's just to make sure, or definitely, not trying to have everything perfectly planned, because at the end of the day, that's going to stress me out. So it's about going into summer with the mindset that supports my business and supports my family life for the most part. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I am right on the same page with you. I think during the summer, I create hard stops on dredging up newness. It's definitely about consistency. So that is always, I would say, like the punchline when it comes to business. It's just consistency and
Right.
finding ways now to kind of minimize business. So there are slower days and days that I can be open to times that are less structured. I am big on the intentionality when it comes to the kids. So I love to do the most during the summer because we have such jam packed lives and it's the time to slow down. And so I really look forward to that. I build everything that we're doing around that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what truly matters over the next couple of months? In your business, maybe this isn't the season to launch new offers. Maybe it's about maintaining, nurturing clients, or focusing on one key project. At home, maybe it's about creating memories or simply getting through the days with less stress. Pick 2 to 3 business priorities and 2 to 3 personal priorities, and let the rest be flexible. As I've already said, for me, it's
Mhm.
intentionality all day, every day. When it comes to business, I'm already preparing to scale back and set up processes that are going to help me with consistency and focusing on the administrative things that I need to do ahead of the final quarters of the year. So that's kind of how I pivot when it comes to business because, as I said before, I just really think it's so important to be present with the kids when we do have more time together. And it's not that we're just seeing each other in passing or, driving down the street. So I
Mhm.
definitely make that my main task, and everything kind of falls under that. With home, I am big on just creating schedules, and they're not tight schedules, but it's just kind of an overview of the things that need to get done during that day. Whether it is, making sure that reading is happening. I still make it fun. I still, get creative with how we do it, but just making sure that I'm hitting those bullet points that are going to provide peace in the experience as well as making each day meaningful in little ways. What about you?
For me, as far as business is concerned, I think for me, just having consistent content, but simplified, because showing up online definitely still matters. Um, but summer is not going to be the season to overdo it. So I'm thinking maybe, a few posts a week, stories, or even repurposing content would be helpful. And then I also plan to keep in mind that, Gina, one core business task per day is great. Instead of having this long to-do list and getting, overstimulated by thinking about everything that I need to do, I need to think about what's actually going to move my business forward today and just kind of keep that locked into my mind every day. When it comes to family life, I think a couple main keys would be just to stay present with my kids. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect.
That's
More so just lock in those intentional moments for me. And then also, this is a big one for me, and it's protecting my energy. So I'm not going to be, overdoing. Yes, I'm not going to be doing, overdoing things or saying yes to everything. I'm just going to give myself more grace and more space to rest. Because summer burnout is real if you don't check it early.
oh
So
yes.
yeah. And another thing for me, I think this has always been my concept, is just to create the simple joys and memories. You know, not to try to have this Pinterest perfect lifestyle. Like I said before, just the simple things, ice cream runs, movie nights, just those things that I can really be intentional about. And so, yeah, I'm just picking a few things that really matter this summer in my business life and in my family life. And I don't plan on having a really strict schedule this summer. Just, it'll definitely be structure there, but I'm not putting pressure on myself. So,
I
yeah.
love that. And I think that that is super important. I think one of the key things that you said that is big is simplifying the process, just simplifying what your
Mhm.
tasks are and things that you're committing yourself to doing. Notice earlier I didn't say strict schedule, I said structure. And the truth is,
Right.
kids thrive off of some predictability, and honestly, so do we. But thinking about creating loose blocks in our day is what's going to work. A work block, and that could be 1 to 3 focus hours. A kid activity block, which is just something fun that we do together every day. And rest
Mhm.
time or quiet time. That is a big one for me. I always have a shutdown time during the summer each day where it's everyone go to their quarters and we're going to have quiet time just so that I can regroup and everyone can have time where they're not overstimulated and we can, proceed on with the rest of the day. You don't need perfection, you just need a rhythm.
If you have clients, a team, or customers, now is the time to communicate. Let them know your adjusted hours, slower response times if needed, any planned time off. Setting those expectations early prevents stress later. It's not unprofessional, it's responsible. You don't have to do this alone. That might look like camps or childcare a few days a week, swapping play dates with other parents, delegating more in your business, lowering standards in areas that don't matter as much. Support doesn't have to be perfect to be helpful.
True. Let me ask you this. Are
Mhm.
you a parent who is open to swapping play dates, like in general, that don't require your presence? Be honest now. Be honest.
Um, no, not really. I'm not, I'm not in a space to necessarily leave my kids alone. Now, I'm not talking about the teenager now. That's a completely different thing. He can hang out every now and then, and, I don't necessarily need to be there. But for the two younger ones, I'm just not in a place yet to do that. I feel like I need to be present for the most part. How do you feel about that?
I'm going to tell the truth. I don't think I'm going to ever be in a place
Mhm.
where I am open to that. And I know that that creates a certain
I
level of
figured.
bondage for me,
Hmm.
but I just I'm just going to be there. I'm going to be there. Or I know what my intentions are and I know how serious I am when it comes to caring for other people's belongings, other people's children. Like, I just really don't play games when
Exactly.
it comes to that. And it's very important for me to create a safe environment. And
Right.
so yeah, I'm open to that. But then I say that, but not necessarily because I enjoy my peaceful moments and I don't want to have 1,000 play dates.
Mhm.
I'm talking like just a couple during the summer,
Right.
because I'm
Right.
not the in and out of the house parent either. Like I just want to walk around and look crazy. I don't want to be bothered, you know? So
Right.
yeah, I don't know that I will ever be in that place with my teen. I do think, of course, there's, quite a substantial amount of leniency there because, she is
Mhm.
now getting ready to be navigating adult life. But I still am very much in the planning process, but she is free to, you know, go and hang with her friends. I do need like a notice prior to. I do need to know where you are.
Mhm.
But other than
Mhm.
that, like you're free, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
figured
We're here.
that's what you were gonna I figured that's what you were gonna say, but I was like, let me just say, you never did,
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a different kind of PTO. I'm talking prepare the others. Talk to your kids about what summer will look like. Explain when you'll be working, what they can do during those times, and any new routines. Even younger kids can start to understand boundaries when they're communicated clearly and consistently. Talk about non negotiables, pockets of peace, see what I was talking about, and time hacks
Mhm.
that work often or that will work for everybody involved.
I've really been learning that even, I think you mentioned this, that the younger kids can understand boundaries as well. Just communicate with them clearly and be consistent. And, I'm not saying it's perfect because kids are going to be kids at the end of the day. We know that. But they do start to catch on when you stand on what you say. So going into summer, I'm focusing on having a few non negotiables in place, that helps me function, not just as a mom, but as a person and a business owner too. So, yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love
Mhm.
it.
Not everything has to be a big Pinterest worthy moment. Summer memories can be popsicles on the porch, movie afternoons, water play in the backyard, late bedtime once in a while. You don't need to do everything. You just need to be present for some things. Like I said before, activities that we enjoyed during the summer was basically just named, the movie days, popsicles, ice cream runs, water play in the backyard,
Yeah.
playgrounds and parks, just things like that are always great.
During the summer, I like to try incorporating new foods that I am hoping to integrate into our meals
Mhm.
when, things are more structured and school starts back. Like
Mhm.
daredevil challenges with funky looking fruits and vegetables and things like that, just to kind of create pleasant memories around them or pleasant experiences around them so that it will be easier to, incorporate them and hit those, nutrition marks. But yeah, that's something
Mhm.
else that I like to do too. Summer as a mom and business owner isn't about balance. It's about intentional trade offs. Some days your business will get more of you, some days your kids will, and some days it'll feel messy. That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're living a full life. Give yourself permission to adjust, to simplify, and to show up as best you can. Before you continue your day, share this episode with another mom who's juggling all the things right now. We can do this. And as always, take care of yourself. You're doing important work both at home and with your business. Stick around for a few bonus minutes as I discuss ways to create an engaging summer. Keeping the kids active and their minds open may just be your saving grace. Until next time, bye. We've made it through another school year and summer break is here. It's so important to set up simple systems so that we can enjoy one another as a family, we can hit our bullet points as far as summer learning, and to incorporate and infuse fun in everything that you do. Jumping into fun well rested is vital, okay? We have to be able to enjoy one another without being overstimulated. So, two things that I definitely do every summer break is have a set bedtime, okay? And have quiet time during the day. The quiet time during the day usually ranges from 1 hour to an hour and a half, but it just gives us a moment to break apart and be able to have quiet, uninterrupted moments. Having a set bedtime is often that final countdown that we all need as adults that says, this is time for the kids to go to bed and it's time for adult time to shut on. Setting those healthy boundaries is key to enjoying the summer break. Another important initiative is scheduling your outings. When you schedule your outings, you're able to budget properly as well as plan ahead, ask all of the questions ahead of time so that you guys can have a comfortable and enjoyable experience. It also gives your children something to look forward to while giving you breathing room between activities. Studies show that kids lose about 30% or more of what they've learned during the school year. It's really important to make sure that they are staying sharp during this summer break time, so I love to incorporate learning throughout the time. Picking up learning books, learning activities, and activities that are self-guided are going to keep them on track and keep their brains open and excited about learning. I currently love the Summer Bridge workbooks as well as different flashcards, different counting mechanisms, and I also try to incorporate learning while we are out having fun. And time out. Yes, you heard it, office hours. Office hours are so important because you have to work, you have to still create, you still have to build, and it's important that you set those boundaries now so that the kids can value that and it becomes a part of the summer rhythm. Having 1 to 2 hour work blocks that are split give the kids an opportunity to find activities independently and give you moments to work without it being long stints of time. This is the time where you're also going to incorporate either earlier work time or later work opportunities. And yes, it does stretch out bedtime and it does cause you to have to wake up a little bit earlier. However, the benefits are going to be a bonus and it offers growth at a pace with summer in mind. Have your children showed interest in one activity or another? Now is the time to incorporate those summer camps. Counties and city governments put on amazing camps that oftentimes are geared towards things children are interested in, whether it is sports, STEM, art, baking. Now is the time for you to utilize those activities, giving you a breather. Check the city government website where you live, as well as the county website. Go to Parks and Recreation, and they are going to list everything that is available for your kids by age, along with the associated cost. These amazingly affordable camps are often going to be the bridge to get you from one week to the next and allow you to have even more expanded work time, as well as moments to break away and breathe and regroup. I am huge on tapping into free, and the summer is the time where so many activities are available abundantly. There are movies on the green, there are workshops like at Home Depot for children to participate in that are parent included, and you can enjoy quality time. Feeding the kids is definitely going to be a monster. It's summertime and that refrigerator is going to be a revolving door. For dining outside of the home, I like to take advantage of happy hours as well as festivals and small bite menus. This gives my kids experience to try new things, to enjoy foods that they love, as well as keeping my pocketbook in tow without the bottom falling out because it's expensive. Finally, now is the time to amp up togetherness. Having movie nights, ice cream socials, as well as cooking together, baking together, finding new rhythms to clean together, taking walks, laying by the pool. This is the perfect time for you to find ways to come together as a family and reestablish a bond that is going to carry you through the rest of the year. This is midpoint. Yes, summer break is hectic and it requires a lot of energy, but one of the biggest things that it requires is intentionality infused with love. I hope you guys have an amazing summer break, and I hope that you'll take some of these tips and pack them in your summer survival. If this episode inspired you, we'd love to hear your biggest takeaway. Slide into our DMs on Instagram at @thelifesupport_.
If you haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a Power Hour pep talk. And leave a comment. It helps other mamas find us and transforms one mom's hustle into all of our community boosts.